Woo! What is good, my peoples? It's your boy Zav. Feel alive. Feel marvelous, magnificent. I am rejuvenated. I feel great, guys. How you guys feeling tonight? If you guys don't know me, that's okay. That's fine. I don't get much stream time anyways when I make it to majors, right? I keep losing and drowning in pools, but that's totally fine, all right? So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Zaf. Zaffarino. It's my real name. I don't know why. I'm still trying to figure that out. You can call me Zaf for short. I hail from Brockton, Massachusetts. It's way easier to just say Boston in like any sort of social setting, so I just say Boston off of rip. I'm like, yeah, you know, Boston, Massachusetts. And then if they keep going, hey, what part of Boston? I'm like, it's really south of Boston, but I just say Boston. All right, cool. So, I've played Street Fighter since I was 17. So I was going into my senior year of high school, and I came across it through a friend of mine introduced me to it. Long story short, I've been playing ever since, and I got really hot at the end of 4's lifespan. I started to get some real traction with my growth and stuff like that, and then 5 came out, and I just got straight up like uppercutted by Mike Tyson in the throat, and I kind of fell behind, and you know, but that's totally fine. You know, that's another discussion for another day. So basically, I'm streaming. I play competitively. I still travel, and I just picked it back up seriously again. I was kind of lost in the sauce. I was like in this really weird place mentally, and some people might be feeling that right now. Maybe some of you guys are really frustrated, and I know how that feels, and I don't want you guys to walk through, you know, that avenue like I did. So I figured, you know what? One of my many strengths, besides playing the game and competing, is explaining things and helping people. So I'm like, shit, let me just do that, you know? So here I am. And you know, I know some of you guys might be tuning in for the first time. You never heard me, but I will say this, that I'm pretty sure that there was a point in your life where you've made an exception. You know, like you might have been hesitant, like, I don't know if I should do this, and then you did it and it worked out. And I think that this might be that.
You're loyal, you're grateful. I appreciate that.
Thank you, Kimbo, for the 3 months in a row. That is my homie right there. I appreciate him. He's actually the one that designed this oh so clever Fei Long, Zaf Long inspired schedule thing right here. Let me just give you a throwback to that. That's that right there. That's that man. He did that. I appreciate Kimbo. He's also from Brockton, Massachusetts. He's a good friend of mine. He's a talented artist from around the way. Anybody needs any sort of designs, I highly recommend him because his caricatures are on point. And he's really unique and flavorful. I don't know if you guys have seen the Boondocks Dragon Ball Z. He's actually the dude that came up with that. And that got a lot of traction. You know, so my city got some talent, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to just continue that legacy. So, anyways, yeah, so I was saying, like, about the exception. So, you know, you guys made an exception. All right, cool. So, what I'm saying here is that you probably look at me and, you know, you're probably like, well, what is the point? Why would I want to be here, Zaf? You haven't won a major. You haven't even got top 8. Well, the thing is that all of that is totally true, and I totally get that you could go to another stream. But the one thing I will tell you is that I have some strange gift with learning. Like, I can just learn so deep. It's insane, right? And that's probably why my progress hasn't really caught up in front of the curtains, you know, like on the stages at the majors. I know one day it will. It's inevitable. But the stuff that I know, the things that I've experienced and what I'm capable of, that stuff it's gonna come to fruition. It'll surface eventually, be tangible for everybody out there. So I'm just saying, is make an exception and tune in, because I can guarantee you a year from now, a month from now, even maybe by the end of the stream, that you'll not only come out a better player, but you will come out a better person. And that is my goal every single stream, because obviously I have my self-centered goals. I want to be a better player, and I know teaching people will make me a better player. But then also there are those other things I can accomplish too, you know what I'm saying? So that's just my little thing in case anybody's kind of hesitant on staying here. You know what I'm saying? There's that. So I give you that piece. And then the rest is up to you. I mean, and if you like laughs, it rhymes with Zaf, so that also helps. So yeah, so let's get into it. Let me say what's up to some of you guys in here. Remedy, thank you, sir, for following. As you guys can tell, I really love JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. I made like a lot of my notifications for my follower alerts based off of that. I have like all sorts of variety, like in terms of the stands and stuff. So like everybody gets their own little stand animation, I guess. I don't know. Whatever. All right, so let me give some shout outs to people in the chat. Super John, what's going on, brother man? Bad Stone, Billy, I appreciate you. Team Shut 'em Down says what's up. Thank you, sir, for tuning in. I appreciate you. Where you from? Brockton game. What's up, Nelbum? Kimbo says, thank you, sir. Appreciate you. And I appreciate you, bro. You helped me out in more ways than one. Kimbo is that dude. Only flaw is he plays Nash. Other flaws, oh god. Super John's such a hater, man. D-Man, what's up, man? Shut him down from oh, we talked on Twitter today, didn't we, earlier? I think that was, yeah, right? Oh yeah, I did meet you at, yeah, you know Kaizen. Anything can happen in cat. Oh god, somebody just kicked this man out of the chat. Please, one of my mods. Konkiro! Hello, hello. What is up? I don't know what this was. I don't know why I did this. Me and Smug do this all the time. Every time we see each other, the Kaizen dab, but I don't know why I did it. Like, to you, that was kind of weird. So, yeah, you can hear him a knot in the background, like, just cussing out Ibuki in training mode. Alright, so, let's get down into it, guys. So, what will we start with? We're going to start with... Bang! Alright, so, for those of you that have been seeing the tweets and stuff leading up to today, I made a straw poll to decide, like, I'll let you guys decide what matches or what match you wanted to get analyzed, and I analyze things really in depth, so I usually just try to keep this to one set per stream, one, you know, like, match, because I get, like, really in depth to the point where you'll see these are my notes. Yeah, so that's 6 pages of notes. And I didn't even take notes on the last, like, match in 2 rounds, just because I just kind of want to keep that part, like, organic so we can watch it together. But I'm gonna help you guys with this. So this series, I have 2 series on my Twitch channel. The first one on Mondays is gonna be Mastery Mondays, where I take a concept of Street Fighter and I literally just simplify it for you guys. It is just that, it's that simple. There's nothing else to it but to do it. That's literally it, guys. So, let me just move this window. Get this. Get that ready. Rewind that. Look at handsome James Chen and Ultra David, right? So, I'm gonna simplify this the formula it's gonna go about it, like today, at least for now. I might change it later on or whatever, but we're gonna talk about what we're gonna focus on, because it's really important when you go into any sort of training or analysis. Like, you want to have a, like, focal, like, what are you gearing your focus towards, right? Because especially in a game like this where there's so many variables to account for, you could get really, like, lost in, like, this storm of detail, right? And it's very difficult to track down things. You start looking at different things, and then eventually what ends up happening, you just become a casual viewer by the end of the set. So what we'll do is I'm going to give you guys a focus, and then we watch it, and then everything will kind of be filtered through that perspective, through that lens. So it'll make a lot more sense to you guys, and you'll be developing this muscle of seeing the things that we're talking about as the match is progressing. So you're gonna see the narration, the story, the narrative that basically gets painted by these 2 players. And the set is gonna be Infiltration versus Xian from ComboBreaker. That happened about, I believe, 2 weeks ago. I was there. I wasn't even paying attention to this match, to be honest, because I was just, like, playing casuals. So in the back somewhere, you probably see my nose somewhere in the back. I don't know, but this is a really interesting set. And so, like, the first thing, as far as, yeah, so Almas says we got Info versus Xian. Yes, sir. Swagenheimer, what's going on, brother? Sup, homie? Followed a few days back. Want to pop in and say what up. Have a good one. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it, man. If you get a chance and you can't watch it, you know, here live, although I recommend watching it live so you can contribute and you guys can type things out and I can respond directly. If you guys can't watch that, in any event, this will be uploaded to my YouTube channel afterwards, so you guys can go on there and just watch it at whenever you want, whenever it's convenient for you. Of course, I think this is the best experience, because that way you can ask the questions right here off rip and I can just get to it right away. You know what I'm saying? But I accommodate. It'll work either way for you guys. So, all right, so let's get started. So we're gonna talk about the focus. So as far as the focus goes, right? I have to like keep looking at my notes and looking up. So the strategic initiative. So we're gonna talk about the strategic initiative. So basically, an initiative is it's improving a situation or resolving some sort of difficulty that occurs. So that's with anything competitively. In sports, it can be in esports, it can be in just like any combat sport, anything like that, right? Anything that it pits one player against another. And especially when it's like live, like where both people can respond at the same time. Even chess though, even chess is turn-based, but this is a thing that still exists within that realm of a competition. Strategic initiative is important because if you don't have an understanding of that, what you end up doing is you kind of like roll the dice on all of your approaches in a match, in any competitive environment. So what you want to do is you want to understand where your strengths are and where your weaknesses are. You want to have a good sense of self-awareness. That is something that like I cannot stress enough. Self-awareness is critical to being at the top 1% in any field. You have to be aware of your habitual nature, the things that you do that you otherwise are not aware of, because it's so fast, right? Like if you look at your brain, the way it's structured, especially when we talk about emotions, your brain is designed so that the electrical signals that go through your brain are going to hit the emotional parts of your brain's cognitive, like that system. It's going to hit that first before it gets to the logical, like prefrontal cortex. It's going to hit all of the emotional parts of your brain. So that's why emotions happen so quickly and then the logic comes afterwards, right? So it's by design. So you don't want to beat yourself up if you're an emotional, but like me, I'm super emotional. I'm like really emotional, like an emotional player, but at the same time I drive that with my logic through training, right? Excuse me. So like initiative is important because if you have a strength, you exercise it. That means you're going to be closer to winning, right? The player that is not at advantage is the one that has to retaliate until he is at advantage. So to put this even more simply, you have one player is either being proactive and the other player is being reactive. That's literally it. That's it. That's why, especially in a game like Street Fighter V, we look at Street Fighter V and you see the design of the game. It's so important to be on the offense, to be on the initiative, to be proactive, to be imposing, you know what I'm saying? To be putting people into situations instead of trying to guess your way out of it because of the design of the game. That's why the reactionary playstyle doesn't really work. Not only because, you know, the design of the buttons on recovery and stuff like that, the active frames, the hitboxes, heart boxes, but just in terms of the risk reward, you know, that kind of surrounds that. So that's why being proactive is especially important. But being proactive was always important in fighting games, you know, because the player that was at advantage always wanted to maintain that advantage and sustain that advantage. And the player that wasn't was trying to take and pull away that advantage from the opposing player, right? So you have Dhalsim versus Zangief. The reason why that matchup is in Dhalsim's favor is because when the match starts, where are you? Think about that. Where are you when a match starts? We could look at this game really quick. Grab this handy dandy arcade stick. And if I were to restart the match, look where we are. This isn't Mortal Kombat where if I beat you, I'm right next to you. No, every single round is a reset, right? And because it's reset, that means we start at this very static situation. This is forced. There's nothing we can do about it. The only thing we can do is what we do afterwards. So as soon as this happens, whoever is already closest to winning that's most likely the matchup is in their favor right there off rip. So Sim would beat Zangief naturally by design because he's at the spacing he wants to be at, and Zangief has to work his way in. So then you can look at Manat and Ibuki, and it's the same thing. Ibuki wants to get in, right? So we'll talk about the objectives of each character, because the goal, everybody has the same goal, is to win. Goals are not specific, all right? In business, a goal is always the same, right? Everybody's goal is the same, but the thing is, what sets you apart is your objective. You want to be as specific as possible with your objective. And to understand your objective, or identify your objective. You want to be able to identify the tool sets that you have, the unique properties of the tools that you have, right? Like what a company would be great at, what a streamer would be great at. They want to emphasize those things, those tactics, because that will position them as closely as possible to achieving their goal of winning, right? Because that's what everybody's goal is, to win, to make the money, to do this, do that. So yeah. So we look at Manat, and we see that she has all of these tools, right? Her buttons are like phantom buttons in a sense, meaning that like they kind of act like projectiles, right? So you can treat her medium and heavy orb pokes, the punches, because she doesn't, I mean, yeah, she can do the kick one too, but you want to treat these ones as fireballs, right? Mainly she's going to use this as like a anti-air, so you don't even have to worry about this button on the ground. But her stand strong and her stand fierce, you're going to want to treat those as fireballs. And the way you beat fireballs is it's, you know, like any other move, one of three ways. You beat it on startup by counter hitting it. You beat it while it's active by hitting it while evading it, right? So that's like a way to beat fireballs, right? Because you use projectile invulnerability to hit your opponent while avoiding the fireball. You gotta think of it like that. And you can do the same thing with buttons. If I can hit you and not get hit, that is a way to punish you during your active frames, right? And then there's the recovery portion of punishing things or beating things. That's where you block it or you get hit by it and you can punish it. I don't think there are many moves in the game that you can get hit and still punish. Maybe like instant overheads and stuff like that, but I can't really think of too many moves like that. But, you know, for the most part, recovery would be things on block. You know, things on block or things on whiff. So that's how you would punish that, right? Okay. So we know that naturally, looking at the range advantage that Manat has, she's naturally right where she wants to be, which is this spacing. So there's no real reason to go outside of this range unless your opponent is doing something, like tactically speaking, that is just so bizarre or so strong that you have no choice but to resolve it right there and then. You know, but that's the thing about Manat, is that there are characters that can give her a hard time, but they don't really discourage her natural strategy, if that makes sense. So that's why she doesn't really have a losing matchup, you know? So we have Ibuki on the other side, and Ibuki wants to get in, right? She wants to get in and do her damage and run her set play. But the thing is that she has really stubby buttons, and because she has stubby buttons compared to a character with buttons that are like fireballs, that means Ibuki is gonna have to navigate Manat like she's a labyrinth, you know, and just dodge all these like things that are getting thrown at her. So movement is gonna be like the sole thing Ibuki has to focus on, and she's gonna try to obviously get her V trigger and get things established that way. Manat, she's most likely gonna play defense. She's gonna be defensive and be like a wall until she gets V trigger. Then she has the choice. But for the most part, she doesn't really have to go outside of that realm of defense. But her having both options is really nice. That's the reason why Guile was so strong in 5 and still is strong in my opinion. Is because he has that option of going back and forth. You know, he's not forced to one playstyle. And when you're not forced to a certain playstyle or path, you're not predictable. So yeah, I hope that makes sense with you guys so far. Guys have any comments? Anything that needs to be explained? Feel free to ask away. When's Cody? Yeah, I don't know. Cody looks kind of underwhelming. But then again, you know what? I can't say that because I haven't played the character. Like, I'm pretty sure a lot of people thought Akuma was going to be kind of weird because, you know, his buttons were so weird, this, and that. And then look what happened. Ended up being the best character in the game that season. What's up, Joe? Joe Cool Macaulay. Or McCall. Is that McCall or Macaulay? That's McCall. Okay. Word. So he has potential. I'm not going to even comment on it. I hope he's a good character. I hope AJ is satisfied. Okay, so let's see. So we gave the intro. So let's see. What is the next question? So we talked about the initiative. So your initiative being their ability to improve a situation or resolve one. And the definition of it is really interesting too. and it's the ability to assess or initiate things independently. Independently meaning without external influence, right? So if I'm doing something independently in a match, that means I'm doing it without your influence, without your like, you know, reach, without you having much say in that. So when you have two players though on the screen, how do you have that independent dynamic? That doesn't make sense. Well, guess what? Somebody's gonna have to seize that initiative from the other player, right? So that's where the battle of establishing your spatial dominance comes into play, trying to get into that superior spacing. But if you just so happen to lose a spacing game, then it's about resolving the problem of why you're losing the spacing game and then just trying to take that away. So you're gonna notice that in this set we're gonna watch, you're gonna see Infiltration. He's gonna have a super simple strategy against Xian, and it's as simple as this. He's gonna want to create this fake rhythm in the mind of Xian, and Xian is going to want to obviously navigate what he thinks is these how do you say, these intentions, this intent, these purposeful actions of Infiltration, but it's really just all like masqueraded under this deception. Like Infiltration is really good at deceiving people through his like by giving you false impressions. He's really good at selling you ideas, you know? It's like, imagine you have a businessman that wants to sell you a product. You want them to buy the product. You don't want to sell the product, you know? That's the thing that makes Infiltration so dangerous, is that he has this, the way he plays, it just seems so genuine because of how he's winning, but it's never really his intention. You know, and you guys are going to see that. So the thing I want you guys to really, really pay attention to for this set is going to be, make sure I say this exactly how I want to say this. Let's see. Okay, yeah, so basically Infiltration is going to want to sell a fake rhythm to Xian, and then we're going to see Xian try to counter this rhythm, right, and try to close the distance, but he's going to end up running into a lot of fake limbs, all right, or phantom limbs. That's what we call it. Kaizen, shout out to Kaizen for that. It's phantom limbs. I'm going to teach you guys what phantom limbs are after you get a little bit into the match so that you can see exactly what's going on, and I'll demonstrate it in training mode. All right, so let's see. All right, what's up, Pumper Jam? Cool.
Winners in grand finals, I should say.
So do you guys want me to mute this, or do you guys want the game audio to rock? Because I'm probably going to be rewinding it a bunch of times. I don't know if you want to hear James Chen's puns like every 5 seconds. Granted, he wasn't too bad in this set. I give him the benefit of that. He was pretty good. He was well behaved. If Info had combos like Sako, the match would have been different. Yeah, I mean, I can see that, I suppose. Oh, good feedback, Billy. Let it rock, but kind of quiet. So I'll just lower it. There you go. So you'll just hear James Chen whispering in your ear. So soothing. All right. So match start. With two high-level players like this, every single battle is very important. It doesn't matter if it's Street Fighter V and comebacks can happen, because when you get to this level, even with a game like Street Fighter 4, people were saying the same thing, to be honest. They were like, yo, this game, it's like the comeback mechanics, but then you saw towards the latter half of the game that only the best players were winning. Like, it was consistent. And that's what's happening in this game too. Like, despite how volatile it is, and I used to believe it, but then, you know, I just stopped bugging. But I see that the little battles are important. You know, you have to be able to win the battles against your opponent and yourself. And you're going to see at the end of the set exactly what happens to Infiltration that causes him to... I'm not going to spoil it if you haven't seen it, but you guys are going to see the end results. And I'm going to explain exactly what happens. So, opening gambit. Like chess, the opening of a Street Fighter match is where you establish your initiative. You want to seize your advantage, right? So with two great players, what's going to happen is they're going to usually try to dominate space. It's the same thing like in chess. In chess, you have your white pieces and your black pieces. The difference being in that in a game like Street Fighter, both players can move at the same time. But in chess, it's turn-based. So usually fundamentals of chess, you want to develop towards the center, right? Because that's where you have the most influence. So it's kind of the same thing here, is that both players are trying to get into that spacing where they can establish the most influence and just get that much closer to that effective positioning where they're just on the cusp of winning the round, winning the situation. Because that's what it is. It's a series of winning small situations back to back to back to back to back, and then you win a round. Back to back to back. It's not about landing damage, it's just about winning the situations, because you got to remember, there are two ways to win at Street Fighter. I have more health than you when the clock hits 0, or I make your health hit 0. That's it. That's literally it. Well, I have more health than you when the clock hits 0, or I make your health hit 0. And it says that in the pamphlet. That's what's really funny. In Street Fighter 4, I remember reading it, and that was the first thing it said. It didn't say knock your opponent's HP down to 0. It said try to have more health than your opponent when the clock hits 0. And I was like, damn, I never like noticed that. And that's like a big shift in your paradigm, because you think you have to win by knocking your opponent, by hating them. Like, no, you can just win the smaller battles. So that's what we're going to see here. Now watch. The entire set, I don't know if you guys do this, but this is a really awesome skill to develop, is where you pay attention to your opponent's opening gambit, and you're going to see Infiltration is going to walk up, and I believe he's going to do walk up, jab, jab, and Xian is going to walk up and down back, right? So this is both of their ways, their unique ways of establishing that mental focus of, I want to get information. You're going to see it right off rip, but then notice the evolution of the opening game every single round from here on out. It's going to be so crazy. All right, ready? Look at that. So right off rip, we see that Xian does walk up, down, back, right? And Infiltration does walk up, jab, jab. And when Xian sees the second, I believe when he sees the second jab, that's when he goes for the jump kunai. Oh, it's before, so he does it preemptively. So he's anticipating at this point. So that's showing right there off rip. Whenever you play somebody, you can kind of gauge their risk reward for the rest of the round based off of that. So that kind of tells you like where his mind is at, where is his confidence. So that's telling you right there, wow, if Xian is willing to make that big of a commitment and waste a kunai that early in a set, and not really, we didn't play, like we played earlier, granted, but every great player, like they treat a set as a new set, right? Apollyon number 9, thank you, sir, for the follow, or madam. I don't know, I can't tell the gender through the name, but regardless, you're appreciated. Thank you for tuning in. I hope you're having a good time. So you're going to see Xian, he commits to this jump kunai. That's kind of a tell. It's like a little bit of a foreshadow of maybe how Xian's going to move throughout the set. You can be wrong, but you do want to kind of create this narrow set of options that your opponent is most likely going to resort to. So it makes it easier to understand what they're going to do. But in a game that's preemptive like Street Fighter 5, where it's better to be proactive, you don't want to be looking for the wrong thing and playing the wrong way. And then in a game that does that dishes out so much damage, especially for being wrong, it sucks to be wrong. So you try to like gauge your risk reward throughout the set, you know, and it's interesting to see Xian just kind of right off rip just go for the jump kunai, probably anticipating some sort of like, you know, counter poke or some just autopilot string just to create a spacing. Okay. So that's interesting. So this is like a small little detail. Just to show you where Xian's head is at, he blocks the stand medium kick and does V skill immediately with reversal timing. You see how it says reversal? That's very important. Things like this kind of get thrown under the radar, or they just slip underneath your consciousness in a match because the game is so fast, and it's just something that seems so like insignificant. But timing is very important because it tells you their intention right away. The fact that he blocked the stand medium poke, right, and immediately does the V skill just tells you that, okay, that's two things we got from here. Xian just committed to the jump kunai, and then now he's doing reversal like options immediately after the end of block stun that he knows he's at advantage, because Manat's obviously negative in that situation, right? And he knows Infiltration knows that. So Infiltration's obviously just chilling, like, all right, it's not my turn. Okay, let's go back to neutral. Wait, what? What's this V skill? And now, you know, he just gets a little bit of V bar because of it, right? So that can tell you right there that Xian might end up playing a movement-based game around block stun for the rest of the round, at least, maybe the entire set. That can be his focus, his strategy. So let's see how Infiltration responds. Okay. Wow, that was really good. So this is really interesting. I don't even know if Xian noticed this, but anytime Infiltration does a jab, if it does not connect, he rarely will follow through with another poke. It has to, he like wants to make sure the jab touches you. Then he's like, okay, now I can continue, because I want to make sure you're confined within these options, so that way if I'm wrong, at least I'm wrong within this set of scenarios. I'm not wrong because you did something that was completely like out of a mind game that I wasn't prepared for. He's trying to lock him into a mind game that he knows he can win at, which is, I'm going to put you in block stun, I'm going to jab, and then we can play that. If you're going to beat me, you're going to beat me here. That's another thing that I stress with you guys. Learn how to lose. This sounds really weird, but you really want to learn how to lose, because if you can learn how to lose, like, I only want to lose this way, you're setting a standard for yourself, you know, and that's really good, because then you'll create a really strange discipline, you know, of just being like, I'm only going to lose if my opponent is doing this, you know. That's what, like, you know how Daigo gets thrown 4 or 5 times in a row? That's what I'm talking about. It doesn't necessarily have to be that, but what I'm saying is, like, you'll let your opponent walk up full screen and throw you because you're not willing to whiff a button. Or your opponent has to crush counter you 7 times in a row because you just keep pressing the button. Like, you just know how you want to lose, because it makes it a lot easier to know how to win, you know? All right. So we see that he does the jab, and it finally connects on block. And now he commits to the stand strong. Okay. So now we're going to see a really interesting development, right? Okay. So you see, I'm going to be rewinding this probably a couple times. Okay. So that whiff, that was an overcommitment. All right. And it's so interesting because Infiltration, you'll notice, like, when he whiffs the strong, it's because he thinks that it like, he sees that the jab hits, so he's like, all right, you're automatically still here. You're not going to be moving back. But Xian kind of does like these micro walks. He does these like little like pixel like walk back jerks. Right? Okay. Now you see that right there. That was really good. So he does the jab and it whiffed, but instead of doing the walk up jab, he was like, okay, I've overcommitted. This is the second time that I've done this. Let me take a step back and see what Xian's what his focus is, because when you're successful X amount of times against a certain player, at some point they have to respond. Especially against a great player like Xian. These are 2 Evo champions we're talking about. People tend to forget that, right? These are 2 Evo champions that are battling right now. So they're trying to win all of the small battles, the battles that you and I don't really see at casual's glance until we go back and watch it again, right? So that walk back. So instead of him doing the jab strong, the jab again, right? He just does the jab whiff and walks back. So that right there is telling you if Infiltration is kind of, now he's sneaking in little tidbits of, I'm going to wait for information. Okay. And you're going to see this is how Xian loses the first 2 matches. And that right there is such a such a small point that just happened. You see how he does walk back? Okay, so that walk back is another way Infiltration confirms what's going on the screen. Every player has a way of confirming what's going on. Some people walk back, some people with jabs, some people neutral jump, some people just down back, some people walk forward, some people with buttons. But a lot of players have a tendency to do something to confirm something is happening on the screen, right? Especially when there's no music, there's no noise, it's just really silent. There's no like dance going on, you know? So he walks back. And the reason why I say this situation is important, because you're going to see this leads up to a really like a really good end game scenario. So he throws the orb and he dashes, right? So I want you guys to keep seeing this visually. And he dashes up, and Xian dashed afterwards. So keep that in mind. So Infiltration is actually at advantage until he does this recall, right? But now obviously he's on advantage when he blocks it. But what I was saying was that he was at advantage because Xian was dashing afterwards. That was a really good punish on his neutral jump. So Xian's movement, he's trying to counter some sort of heavy attack. He's resorting to these big moves after he see like that dash whiff punish. Very subtle. Dash whiff punishes are very real too. So you see how he whiffed the dash? So the reason why he's putting the jab there after the blocked medium punch is because if Xian tries to retaliate with the forward roundhouse, it'll counter hit it on startup. And not only would he counter hit that, he would stop dash and he'll stop jump. So he covers the big three options. Because the big three options in this game, like in Street Fighter 4, there was lazy man footsies, right? Lazy man footsies was basically anytime you pushed your opponent to sweep range, they would cycle between three options. The three options would be focus attack, jump, or some horizontal move. So let's say you played a Bison player and you pushed him with a block string. You just tapped him and pushed him to sweep range. He's gonna dash, or he's gonna do a horizontal attack. He's gonna jump, or he's gonna focus attack. Those are the bad Bison players, the lazy man footsies. That's why we call it lazy man footsies. So you see here, this isn't really less lazy man footsies, but the thing is that because of the nature of the game and the damage surrounding crush counter and just offense in general, one of the really good things to do is to just dash up and try to seize advantage and turn that into your offense, right? So that's why Infiltration is so good, because he understands the mindset of like common knowledge. You're negative, so I am going to take advantage. But because I'm far away, I can't really do anything that's a hit confirm. So I'm going to just try to close this, close the gap. What's going on, Hot Step at 212? So you see how he does the jab commitment afterwards? So he does the strong and the jab again, right? That was really good. The air-to-air is awesome. That was really good. If you're playing against Ibuki and you sense that she's getting really desperate to mount her offense, just as soon as you see her leave the ground, just jump with her. Just jump with her. Because if you air-to-air her and the trade happens, you'll land whatever. It's all good in the neighborhood. It's way better than blocking her kunai. Because think about it. You do a jump jab and you... Even if she by some miracle hits you with the kunai, the damage isn't that significant. I don't even know exactly how much it does, but it's not that serious because it's not the explosion that's hitting you on EX kunai. And on top of that, she's losing a bar, you know? So this is a really good option. Right there, you try to do jump medium kick, but it's just the idea of covering the worst case scenario. That's what the focus is right now. Okay. So you see now, Infiltration's resorting to jab walk back. So anytime he gets into the jab stand strong flowchart, he usually will follow it up after he successfully hits it with jab wait, because he knows that when somebody gets hit, they get irritated, and when people get irritated, they lash out, no matter how disciplined you are. It's like at some point, somewhere in your mind, you're gonna be like, let me try this option, you know? And lash outs can be really small, they don't have to be big. Okay. That's another example of, this is another, like, I guess you can say proof of the fact that when Infiltration thinks that this is gonna hit, he just kind of commits to the follow-up button. So you can use that against him. If you're on the edge of his jab, he's most likely going to press the follow-up button. Because look, and he just committed to it. Because in his mind, he's already thinking of the timing for block zone, so he's probably just doing it. But every other time he knows it's gonna whiff, he rarely ever committed to the follow-up button because he treats his medium and heavy pokes like fireballs, right? See, look at that. That was really good. Stands strong and he whiffs jab, but he still has enough time to get the crouching fierce. This was awesome, and he doesn't quick rise, so that's really good. I mean, granted, I guess that hits juggle, but the damage, it doesn't do jack shit. Oh, it didn't even hit. Okay, I thought maybe it might OTG on the ground, but that was really smart. That's good presence of mind because Infiltration understands, like, worst case scenario, I don't rise and he just gets standard Street Fighter 5 pressure on me. That's way better than me quick rising and then I have to guess another 4-way mix-up, right? I wonder if Shinryuken through the... If I can Shinryuken through the air kunai. Might be able to, I have no idea. Ibuki making you block with kunai is worst case scenario. Exactly. See? Exactly. He does it right there. He just leaves the ground with him. So a good way to practice this is that you can practice reacting to the pre-jump frames of when your opponent's character leaves the ground. That's like a really good way of doing it. So as soon as you see them leave the ground, as soon as you see that, like, just them start to play hopscotch, you just like up back. Because worst case scenario, if they do like a hopping attack, let's say like, I don't know, who has a hopping attack? Like Ibuki, she has 4 roundhouse. And let's say you just saw the wrong move come out. Who cares? Like you're going to jump back and you're just reset the spacing. Granted, if you're in the corner, it sucks obviously because she can punish you, but like, especially with a lead like this, if you look at all of this advantage with the meter that I'm highlighting with my mouse, like not really highlighting, but circling. But you see how much of an advantage he's at? Yeah, super has a V reversal and health advantage. Whereas Ibuki's basically a back throw away from death. So that's like the kind of the checkmate route to go about. So it makes sense for Infiltration. That was really good. All right, so let's see. All right, so now we are on round 2. So okay, all right. So the start. Remember what happened at the start of the last round rather. We saw Infiltration do walk up jab, and then on his second attempt of the jab, Xian, who was doing walk up crouch block, he just committed to jump kunai. So now we say, I wonder what Infiltration is going to do, because he originally saw Xian walk up and try to close ground, right? And you'll see Infiltration gets a sense of Xian is kind of getting really aggressive. Super John, I'm so glad you said that because you actually reminded me of something. You're going to see Infiltration do a really hard read at the start of the match with very little risk behind it, of course, but it's a read nonetheless. And the reason why it works is simply this. Certain players in the end game, when they don't make it to their end game, or they don't feel like they've successfully made it to their end game, what ends up happening is there is a overflow into the next match. So a lot of times when you play a lesser disciplined player, the start of the round of the next round, they're going to start mad aggressive. And you're going to see it happen right now, because if we go and watch the last 10 seconds of that round, let's see, you're going to see like a lot of big movements from Xian. Xian was not really playing like this. I know he feels like he has to for obvious reasons because it's Manat and blah, 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 but you see that jump kunai, misses, dashes, walks into a button, just, it was all over the place right there. And Infiltration senses that and he goes, okay, I think this is going to carry on. Boop. And look what happens. That over-aggression carries on. So now this is a really important... this thing is really important. So you've seen the evolution of the open game. And now you're going to see the next round what ends up happening. Of round 1, match 2. It's going to be really interesting. So keep that in mind. Nice. Okay. So Infiltration again follows up. Oh, look at that. They both dash at the same time. So anytime something like this happens, that synchronicity where 2 players kind of do the same thing at the same time, their rhythm is really in sync. So it's really interesting to see which player is going to recognize that first. And you're going to see something really awesome at the end of this match that's going to highlight that. So the dash up stand light kicks right here is to try to preemptively counter his crouching jab, I'm assuming. What's up, Reese? Analyzing Kabuki. Nah, JK, what's good, bro? I'm chilling, man. Just hanging out with the homies, you know, in here. Just growing, striving, thriving, you know. All right. Okay, so Xian is still kind of on that mindset of swinging big. He's trying to swing for a home run. He's trying to get the home runs. He's like Mark McGwire right now. Instead of playing base by base like Derek Jeter or something, right? He's just like, all right, I'm trying to get the score now. I'm trying to get that knocked down instead of playing moment by moment. That's why you see the jump, you know, and then land roundhouse, right? Granted, he delayed it, but still, and he jumps again, like, then he dashes again. See, like, you can track his mindset, and this is a world-class player, but he's still human too. And humans are susceptible to certain behaviors. If you can box that, then you can figure out their rhythm. Rhythm is really hard to break. To break your rhythm takes another like level of mastery. Like I think only few players have ever achieved, in my opinion. But aggressive play is part of the character makeup of Ibuki. Xian wants to overwhelm his opponent. How does he balance that? He has to win the micro battles, not the macro. He's trying to win the macro like by swinging big, you know? You can be aggressive but still play in a calm, intense way. And you're going to see it like later on how Xian does it, and it's so beautiful how he does it. I was actually really hyped analyzing this earlier because I was like, damn, if I just watched this casually, I would have never noticed like the storyline behind their decisions. Okay. See, look at that. So that jab follow-up after the stand strong, he understands that Xian is in that frame data mind game. You're negative, I'm gonna take advantage type of thing, right? So this is why it's dangerous, especially against a character like Manat or Dalsum, where you try to win the battles, like every battle. Like one of the most important things to recognize is that when you make a mistake, you're now at a new spacing in a new situation. You're not at the previous situation. I think sometimes people forget that is when you get hit, there's pushback involved. You know, there's now meter differences, right? There's new variety in your meter management. The spacing is different, like I was saying. The block stun is now different, so it's something you have to like really take into account. You're not as close as you were, or you're not as far as you were before, you know, depending on the situation. So it's like you have to really be aware of these things. Otherwise, you're gonna lose a lot of damage, like Xian did in the first round. So Xian is trying to figure out how to get in. That's good. That V skill was just an evasion thing. Remember I was telling you guys earlier how you can counter while moves are active by evading? Basically what happened right here. Yeah, that was unfortunate. I don't know what that was though. I wonder what Xian was trying to do. He just stand fierce. What could that have been? Maybe he was trying to do crouch fierce, but he just walked up a little bit or something like that. That's my biggest psychological weakness, staying in the moment. Staying in the moment. Staying in the moment. Okay. I'm gonna get to that in a second. Well, probably a little bit down the line. Okay, so Infiltration capitalizes. And remember what happened earlier that we talked about, guys? How we were talking about that understanding rhythm, right? We were talking about when both players were in sync, who recognizes it first. And you're gonna see something really dope happen right now. And it's the same exact situation I told you about. Remember when I said that he did orb release full screen, or he did blast, either or. It's treated the same way because orb comes back, right? The recall. And he dashed immediately afterwards. So like, watch this. Boom. So he knows he beats Xian to the punch in that round previously that we talked about. And that's how he ends the KO. So usually the best players, the masters at anything, right? That is like this type of war, you know, battle of attrition. They don't want to make a move in the end game unless like there's intent behind it. Because in the middle game of a match, where it's like the advancement of your initiative, you have your open game, which is establishing, right, your superiority, whatever, and then there's the advancement in the open game. That's like pushing it forward into the end game so you can close out your opponent. The best players never let their opponent make it to the end game. And you notice, what did Xian die with? Look at his meter. You notice how he never made it to the end game? Infiltration beat him and he never made it to V-Trigger. He had so like he just capsuled him into these series of decisions by locking him into this mind game. Like, you're going to play this game, I don't care. Right? And in chess, they say that I believe it's the Russian grandmasters are so nasty, they're so godlike, and the reason why they destroy like American players, like this was in the past, like Gary Kasparov or whatever, like the reason why they would destroy the American grandmasters in chess is because the American grandmasters were like the tacticians, like they were the ones that would set up those like deadly endgame scenarios that you couldn't really study because they were so creative. But the thing was that these grandmasters from Russia were just so great at their middle game that the Americans never made it to their end game. You know, so they were just kind of stuck in limbo, and they would just lose before they ever really had a chance to establish themselves, get their footing, and make a comeback. And that's what's happening here. This is like the same metaphor. You can see that here with the Infiltration and Xian. So So let's see. Did I miss anything? Oh yeah. So the middle game is more forgiving, way more forgiving because you have health, right? And it's less likely for there to be V trigger involved, for super to be involved. So it's more forgiving for you to make a mistake. But the end game, it's so much scarier because those are things you have to now take into account. Your opponent might have super, they might have V trigger, and then you might be down on health too. So it's really important to gauge your risk reward when you bring your opponent into the end game, you know, because you know that there's an increased chance that they're going to start picking up on their activity. You know, they're going to start being more active and just more self-centered with their decision making because they're probably just how do you say, they're probably more likely falling into a fight or flight mode, yeah, because they know they're closer to losing. Their back is really starting to go against the wall. So yeah. Strong game requirements. So let's see. To be strong at the end game, you're going to need to develop empathy, which is basically what you see Infiltration doing, right? Because you see him understanding the emotional state of Xian. You can see that, not saying like emotional, like, oh my god, I just can't get in, like this match is so trash. But I mean like emotional in the sense of like, I just want to get this initiative start. I want to get my plan developed. I want to do this. And it becomes a very self-centered, you know, like he's the ego. That's where he's seeing that. He's like, okay, Xian is becoming tunnel vision. Like he really wants to do this. He's not really paying attention to me. He's more so paying attention to himself, right? So you want empathy. You want awareness because you want to be aware of not only your opponent, but the things that you're doing. Like when you are potentially shifting your focus. And you also, for the third element, so we have empathy, awareness, and the third element, what I would say would be intent or decisiveness. You want to be decisive. You want to do things with intent and belief behind it. You don't want to do things like half-ass and just kind of leave things to the wind and just be like, you know, I'm going to do this because I hope it works. You don't want to do things in terms of hoping. You want to do things because you want to do them. You know, you want to establish this. You want to succeed. That's what you focus on. You don't focus on the negatives. You know, I was saying Monday when I was streaming that like when NASCAR drivers almost get into an accident, right? They're taught to not look at the wall. So imagine the wall is right here. They don't look at the wall when they're about to crash. They look away where they want to drive, and they drive in that direction. Because when you look at something like that, like you're driving 150 miles an hour, 200 miles an hour, and then you see a wall and you're just like, oh shit, let me not hit the wall. Your brain doesn't understand that. There's a whole bunch of just endorphins and stuff like that just shooting adrenaline in your brain, and your brain's not gonna be able to distinguish do not in the moment. It's just gonna hear do boom, right into the wall. As opposed to when you look and you see, oh, I'm in a bad predicament, but you know what? I'm gonna focus over there and just drive in that direction. That's how I bring it back to learning how to lose. Learn how you want to lose. I'm gonna lose like this by driving in this way. I'm not gonna lose by looking at the wall and driving into it. You know. So that's a way that can help you stay present-minded, Hot Stepper. Is just being aware. Being aware. You have to notice when you're not in the moment. You can't force yourself, but it comes with practice. Once you notice it, then you can manage it. You can't manage it without noticing it. It's impossible. That doesn't make sense. Right? Okay. Let's go to match 2, round 1. Let me get my water. I'll be right next to these guys. Jeez, wait. Infiltration. Wait, hold on. Alright, cool. So, we had 2 opening situations occur. Match 1, round 1. We saw both players walk up. Infiltration walked up, did jab. And on the second jab, after Xian did walk up crouch block, Xian committed to jump kunai. Right? So he commits to jump kunai. Second round, what ends up happening? Infiltration does immediate crouch strong, buffers into orb throw. Right? So when something like that happens, a smart player is going to be like, Okay, that was a read. So let me relax. Let me tone it down. Let me chill for a little bit. Right? And now you're going to see Infiltration take advantage of that. So this is another development in the opening strategy opening scenario. He immediately does orb. Immediately. Like, what? That is so risky to do. Well, you see, he doesn't do it round one. He doesn't do it round two. He does it when he feels that you are convinced that you should do the opposite of what would punish this. You know what I'm saying? What's going on up to snuff? So that's what he's doing. Ah, so you see, we're back to that same rhythm. The explosion and they both dash. So it seems like somebody's not learning their lesson. At least in that scenario. Because remember how Xian lost at on round two? Was that same scenario. Dash up and then the jab buffer. Okay, see? So this is a really funny moment. So when Infiltration is doing this, he's like, he's not trying to taunt Xian, but Xian hasn't done anything yet. He hasn't done anything. He's just done, wow, with jab and a dash, but like he's not doing anything like aggressive, you know? So he's just like, okay, I'm just trying to let you know to wake up. Hello, Xian, are you there? You know? And that's why Infiltration doesn't do anything after he does the jab. After he does Fierce Jab, he doesn't do anything because he's like, okay, I still don't know what he's looking for. So he gives him what he wants. See? So that's what's interesting. He doesn't necessarily care about damage. He's just trying to give Xian what he wants to see what is Xian's mindset. Is Xian going to shift how he was approaching the matchup? Or is he still going to resort to the same like cycle of moves in terms of fighting off of block stun? That was really good. Let's see. Bring that back a little bit. So the Fierce to get the jab. Okay. So that reveals Xian's intention. Xian was definitely looking for this scenario. He was looking for that boxed moment, that critical point of the match, the part of the match that always happens. This is always gonna happen. It's inevitable, and he waits for it, and then he's like, "All right, now back to the aggressive play." So Xian is it's funny because you'd think Xian is a really defensive player, and I always used to think this too, but he's defensive until he's in the moments where he can simplify the decisions. Then he becomes really aggressive. That's when he plays really fast. That's how his Gen was too. That was really good. Hmm. So that walk back right there was to just again confirm. That's one of his ways of confirming. Is walk back with a button, just standing still, just to see like what's on Xian's mind. Is Xian gonna reset himself because now he's in Endgame, you know, and he has V trigger, so you're expecting him to lash out at some point. So he gives him what he wants again. Oh, nothing. Interesting. So what was the reason that he didn't do anything? It's because nothing was really happening right here. So he was just convinced. He was convinced. He's like, you know what? I see that you're in that mindset again of you're trying to figure me out. So Xian basically has two modes. It's the mode of where he's just lashing out, and there's the mode of I'm going to look for information. And he senses, okay, Xian, you're in the information mode. And what was the other time that he was in information mode? The start of the round. Remember? At the start of the round, what happened? He did this. He did orb throw. Boom. Right? Because he already sensed, like, after that hard read from the previous round, when he hit him with this, that Xian was not trying to take any sort of gamble anymore in that situation. Okay. So Xian doing that jump EX kunai, he's just trying to snipe him like whiffing the button. That's like a dive kick tactic. Is you try to dive kick on top of the button. You can think of kunai like a dive kick. So he's just trying to dive kick on top of the button he's anticipating. See? Okay. So he thinks that he's gonna do the walk back fierce like he did in the previous scenario. I mean, he gets the blocks then, which is fine. That's the worst case scenario if he blocks, right? That was really good. That's not a bad idea, man, to just take that and put him in a really strange position because um the chances of Xian converting off of this are so unlikely because he's probably not even thinking of Infiltration doing this, you know, which is probably why he wasn't ready. And even if he converts, right? The issue with him converting off of this is look what happens. He jumps out the corner. Now Xian has to work hard all over again, right? Just to put him in the other side of the corner. I'm pretty sure Xian was like, you know what? I could convert, and then I could go for the light punch Rida and get the dash up meaty, but I'd rather take the corner positioning. So that's why he does the flip, the side flip. Okay, that's a really common Monot thing to do after a throw tech. Is press a button. That was a stand strong. So like if you have a crush counter fierce button, it's really good to press that there. So like Cammy can just stand fierce immediately and it will counter hit it. So it's really good against Monot to, in situations where there's a neutral, like a tech, to pay attention to what they're doing and just counter it. That was just a slight miscalculation on spacing. That's how I got the back throw. All right, so what happens in the open game of round 2? Let's see. I have round 2? Oh, okay, cool. All right, so this is funny. So Infiltration having successfully beat Xian in all 3 opening games, you could say, because the first one, technically, even though nothing extreme happened, he got Xian to waste the kunai. Second one, he read him with the crouching strong into EX orb. The third one, he threw the orb out. So I'm pretty sure at this point, he's like, you know what? I don't want to, you know, play my luck, like, just get too cocky. So let me just kind of dial it back a little bit. Just to make sure everything's, you know, all smooth and stuff like that. So he does a little walk back just to make sure, you see? He's like, okay, all right. Just to keep track. So now we see something shift. Now is the shift that is occurring in Xian's brain. So now Xian, instead of directly countering the buttons, I think he accidentally figures out, I'm gonna actually counter the decisions. I don't think it's at this moment of the set that he does it, but I think at some point in the set, it might be when he makes the comeback in the next match, where he realizes, wait a minute, why am I trying to counter her in the present moment instead of me attacking the future? And attacking the future meaning he gives Infiltration the reverse effect of what Infiltration is doing with him. Infiltration's selling him an idea like, hey, jab, jab, button, buy the button. Are you gonna buy the button, Xian? Buy it. Come on, buy it. I know you want to buy it. And then Xian is like, instead of me buying the button, I'm gonna pretend I'm investing in that. I'm gonna pretend I give him what he wants, but then I'm gonna counter the commitment afterwards. And that's why you'll start to see Xian, especially after this match, I think match 3 and afterwards, he starts getting so many jump ins, it's like insane. So, because look, he doesn't even get counter hit. He just got hit. So that means that there was something Infiltration was focusing on other than that. Especially a player that's usually sharp like that, you have to be really, really good to get a top player to focus on something that's like outside of the obvious big 3. The obvious big 3 being dashes, crush counters, and jump-ins. Like, you have to be really skillful to lure and pull that attention in another direction, you know? What's up, Elias? Hot step, thank you. I appreciate that compliment, brother. Okay, jab, jab. All right. You probably guess he's gonna go for a high on the next mix-up. That was really good. This was really, really good because, especially in this situation, everybody knows Manat's plus, and she can do a throw after this, and this shit is so cheap. And Infiltration knows that he knows, so he's like, you know what? Let me take advantage. That was really good. That's a good presence of mind. To just remember what is the common, you know, action of a community in a situation like that, and then just counter it. That's some top level shit. Because like 98% of Monot players in that situation are gonna go for throw. That was the first. Is that the first time he does dive kick? I think that was the first time he does dive kick. Okay. Does infiltrate? Well, okay. I mean, yeah, he's trying to get aggressive. That dive kick was definitely a tell. Something shifted because Infiltration was not using this. I think it's the first time he used it all set. See, now he's doing back-to-back fierces. So Infiltration's getting really aggressive. And it's like he really wants to close this out now. Because I feel like maybe he's like, damn, he hasn't activated a V-trigger yet. I'm kind of getting a little lucky. You know? Roberto, what's up, man? Thank you, dog. Appreciate it, brother. You know, I had to come through looking kind of spiffy, you know. Flavor Flav. All right. Ah, so see, so this is where, man, Infiltration, you a bad boy. Look at this. So he whips the jab. Remember I told you the walk back jab is confirmed. And in the middle of it, he sees that Xian is doing walk, block, walk, block, walk, block, right? That's why he doesn't commit to anything after the strong on block. Because usually after strong on block, what did he do? He did jab, but I don't even think he wants to risk it here. He's like, no, I'm not even doing that because he might whiff punish me by accident, get V-trigger. No, it's not even worth it. You know, Xian has everything on God's given earth. Like, he could just completely turn this around. He doesn't want to risk it. Right? So he does walk back. But then that jab right there, he uses that. He's like, you know, I could kill him if I throw him. I think I'm going to throw him. And then Infiltration's angel is like, no, don't do it. Please don't do it. Oh my God. And the devil's like, just throw him. And you could go up 2-0. And he's smoking a cigarette. And he's just like, ugh. And then he's like, walk up throw. And it's so good because Xian walks back at the very last second. Man, it's like Xian understood. This is where awareness comes into play. He understood what the counter is to him walking up and blocking while he was doing it, you know? Look at that. Walks back, last second, whiff punish. But setup afterwards isn't anything spectacular. So he's now, we look in the situation. This is really important. Anytime you land something like this and you're both in the endgame, now they're both officially in the endgame. But the thing is, Manat doesn't have V-trigger yet. So what do you think Infiltration is going to try to do? He's not going to try to, I don't think he cares about crush countering to get V-trigger, right? Because if he crush counters with V-trigger, if he crush counters to try to get V-trigger bar, Ibuki's dead. So that doesn't matter. That's irrelevant. So you see this, and one should be inclined to believe that Infiltration is more likely going to go for something with V-skill, right? Because he's literally a V-skill hit away. Hit or block, doesn't matter. Okay. Really intense. Look at that. Remember I said earlier too, I was like, most likely gonna go for the high. He does, because earlier he went for the low. Especially in situations like that. Like, if it's something that's a situation that occurs most likely once a round, the next time it happens, they're probably gonna go through with the next option if they're the higher player. The lesser skilled players, they'll just probably like rinse, wash, repeat because it works, right? But the higher tier player, when they're playing against a top tier player, they're like, I know you know I did that, you know. But it's one of those moments where you forget what happened before. So when it's happening, you're like, what? Let me just, and then boom. So that's why he tries to go for that. But Xian doesn't bite. He's like, you know what? I'm a master of mix-ups. I don't care about that. I'm gonna stand block it. And he blocked that entire. That was really impressive. Look at that. He committed to it too. He didn't chicken block. He just stood up. See? He just committed to it. Yeah, couldn't press anything there. Yeah, that was rough. He could have done, I think he could have did like a stand medium, something like that, because that's a really like wide gap in between that. And that would have been enough to kill him too. Alright. I do not get why Xian used all his meter and did not get a kill. Should have went for a mix-up and then kill. Well, I mean, you know, I don't know. That's his decision. There was probably a reason behind it. Maybe he was more comfortable with that specific scenario, you know? But I agree, it was, by him using that up, it does make it a little scarier because now Infiltration's closer to V meter and you don't have the meter. So it's kind of like you kind of switch places, especially against a character that you know wants to be far away, and then you know that that setup puts them far away. It's kind of like, damn, I don't know if I should be doing this, but it is what it is. So let's see, match 3. All right, so let's see. So now we have match 3, round 1. So we've gone through 5 rounds so far. 4 rounds? This is the, let's see, yeah, it's 5 rounds because Xian didn't he win that? He didn't win a round, did he? No, I don't even think he won a round. Oh yeah, he didn't win a round, shit. So it's been only 4 rounds, so this is the 5th round. So this is the 5th round, the 5th opening, all right? And you remember the first time, it was both of them walked, and Xian does walk block, Infiltration does walk up, crouch, jab, jab, Xian does jump kunai. Alright, nothing spectacular. Next situation, Infiltration reads his movement with crouching strong, EX orb. Okay, and that was a really hard read. Alright. So now it's like, the following round, you know Xian, being an intelligent player, is going to dial it back and slow things down, at least for there. So he slows it down, and Xian is a thinker, so he wants to think about it, he wants to synthesize and understand what's going on. So he tones it down, and Infiltration takes advantage and throws an orb, right? And then the 4th round, Infiltration is like, okay, I've got you beat in the opening game technically 3 times, because the first time, remember, he used up kunai, so he used a resource. So I'm going to just walk back. And Xian was, for 2 rounds in a row, did nothing. So what do you think Infiltration's gonna do? What do you guys think he's gonna do? Based off of what I just told you. So you have, they negated each other, with Infiltration slightly coming out on top, Infiltration reading him really hard round 2. Round 3, he established the dominance right there and then. He was like, I know you're not gonna do shit. Round 4, he waited, saw that Xian was still playing like he did the round before, right? And or not like the round before, like he did walk up jab, they did strong into EX, and then they did the orb. Then he waited. Yeah. So he does. So he's like, all right, you're still waiting. Like when I threw orb. So what do you think he's gonna do this round? Well, this round, I'm pretty sure he's gonna take advantage and think that Xian's not gonna do shit again, right? So let's see. Yep. So he does stand fierce. So these are risks. He's taking risks. He's taking online risks basically. But the thing is he knows when to take the risk. He's trying to confirm. He's trying to get permission from you. You know what I'm saying? He's like, hey, is it okay? And then he's like, yeah, it's totally fine to throw this orb at my knees. Oh man, okay, so now this is huge. So Infiltration is being super aggressive. This is the most aggressive he's been by far in all of the 3 matches that he's played so far. The fact that he dashed and is just committing to like, yeah, he's playing hyper aggressive. So now you can kind of tell yourself, okay, for the rest of the round, Infiltration's mindset is most likely going to be geared towards aggression. So let's say if I knock him down and he has V-trigger, he's most likely going to wake up with 3-frame jab or something like that. You know, like there's just something to keep in your mind, because usually there are like traces of complacency or aggression throughout a match, depending on how you open the game up, because it's kind of like a bias. It's like you're predisposed at that point. You've convinced them that it's okay to play this way, so it's gonna be a lot harder for them to snap out of it. You know, that's why top players take their time. You notice they take their time between rounds to reset themselves. They're like, okay, I definitely messed up. He beat me in this match. Let me go to character select. And they sit there and they think about it and let things run through their head. They're pondering. But it's hard to do that in a match. Not every player is capable of doing that. Even though some of the best players, they have a hard time of like resetting themselves mentally in a match. So they'll do it between rounds when it says, you know, round one, or they'll wait, or they're better off doing it during a set, you know? So he's really aggressive. So, okay, so this was really, really good. This is a small but really dope tactic. It's a really dope element of Street Fighter. For those that have read the Footsie's Hand Guide, you might know what this is. So Infiltration knows that Xian dashes typically in this situation, right? Because you saw both times or that this happened, that they both dashed at the same time. Or there's three situations that this has happened, where he did orb and recall, and they both dashed together, right? And the second time it happened, Xian died because of it. In match 1, round 2, because Infiltration did the dash earlier, and then he counter hit him or counter poked him his recovery of his dash, and then he ended the match with orb. So Infiltration's doing something really dope, where he's trying to jump, and at the range that's going to be committed when the opponent commits to their movement, it's going to be an ambiguous cross-up range. So basically, by him jumping preemptively, it's like, imagine this is a way of getting 1 + 1, or it's like saying 2 + 2 = 4, but 1 + 3 also equals 4. And what I mean by that is, you can be at sweep range, which is cross-up range, right? Or you can be further away and somebody moves into the range, and now they've created the sweep range while you're in the air. You see what I'm saying? So now you'll see him after the orb, he just jumps. But you see, because, oh, this is what's really useful about Ibuki's move, right? You see how Ibuki's shadows right here? This was her original position. So because she moved, instead of her being here, where Infiltration can't cross up, she's now here, right? And Manat's jump, she has a really floaty jump, and I'm pretty sure he's not even aware this is happening until like a couple of milliseconds into this decision, and he's like, oh shit, he's jumping, right? And now look what happens. He gets a mix-up. Oh, see, now this is the second time he's done dive kick. Now he's being super aggressive. So now this is kind of where Infiltration's downfall is, in my opinion. Where Infiltration kind of lost sight. Okay, so previously, before, Infiltration would just like walk under and whiff punish. Thank you, KO, for the host. He would like walk under his jump attempt and whiff punish, or the trip guard rather. But it didn't work in that situation because of the recovery from the orb. See, that was really good. So again, he's still trying to counter his movement. That's why he does this. He thinks that he's gonna dash into it. Hmm. I'm gonna bring that back a little bit. So you see, okay, so this is really good. So you see how he does the fierce, right? You can think of a fierce like it's a really big move. So anytime Infiltration does something really big, he wants to make sure that the next time he does it, it's very unlikely that he's gonna die because of it. So that's why he resorts to the move back jab to confirm, like, okay, all right, you know, he's not doing anything. And then you see the second jab again was to confirm, and then he committed to it because he saw Xian was still on the ground. So Xian didn't do anything crazy yet, right? And that's why he jumps in on him. So right now you're starting to see Xian transitioning into countering Infiltration's mental commitments as opposed to the things that he's doing. He's not really trying to counter what he's doing, his buttons, because that's how he was losing. He's trying to counter Infiltration's commitment, his decision making. That's what he's trying to counter, not necessarily the tools of the character. He's like straight up trying to just beat the player at this point. That was really good. Took advantage. The -2. You know, Xian is like a frame data monster, so he's like, you know what? I know you're negative and you're gonna chill out. Okay. Infiltration is being really risky with those back-to-back strongs. Maybe Xian senses it, like that Infiltration really wants to end this set. See, now this was really bad. That was that. See, that was like he was already winning, and he knows that Xian wants him in the corner. So it's for him to just take that risk. I feel like Infiltration probably wishes he could have this back because his orb was there. You don't have to do anything like crazy. You know what I'm saying? You're already getting the hits you want. Like he just kind of got greedy, and it's the same like with the situation earlier when he tried to walk up and throw him, and then Xian did the walk back and he whiff punished him with the V trigger. He did low forward into V trigger. This is the same scenario. He just knew like Infiltration is gonna wanna just get that, walk up throw type of thing. He didn't throw there because he was probably confused, like, oh shit, what just happened? Back throw. All right. So that was good. That was a good jump jab. So this is a very interesting uh it's so funny just like watching it. It's so cool to know that we can see this. Like this isn't magic. This isn't, oh my god, he's a god. Like no, like literally we just talked about why these things are happening. And you see why he jumped now. It's not like some hieroglyphics to you. You can see the decisions leading up to the bigger decisions now. It's just a bunch of smaller scaled, less risk taken actions, and then they lead up to the big ones. And that's why he jumped. Why did he jump? Because last round Infiltration did stand fierce. He does air to air. Infiltration's ready. He knows. He's prepared. He's like, I understood what I did. I know what I did. See, now Xian is in that mindset. That swing big. So now Infiltration gives him what he wants. And Infiltration, I don't know why he got hit by this. I feel like Infiltration knew, but then he kind of like second guessed himself right here. Because remember earlier, anytime Xian was like this, Infiltration was like, I know you're looking for something. Let me give you what you want, but then I'm going to back up immediately. But this time he overcommitted. Right? Because he hits him with he does the fierce. Right? And he hits him. And then he doesn't resort to what he was doing earlier that was working, which was walk back and just watch what he does. Instead, he dashes up and gets hit by that. But I will say that right there is so impressive. His presence of mind is awesome. He knows that, like, when this roundhouse hits, when he dashes, he's like, oh shit, I fucked up. But then he also says, oh, but at this range, he can't hit confirm. So he's most likely going to try to close the gap, and he dashes. Because you can't do the jab combo afterwards. She's +4 after that, or +3, I think. And she can do the target combo, but at that range, it would whiff. So he knows Xian knows that because he knows Xian knows spacing. So he's like, all right, he's mostly going to try to close the gap and use this as an opportunity because he plays the frame data game, right? I keep going back to that same theme with Xian. Xian he's using the frame data, but it's being used against him sometimes too. That was awesome. Now see he does the jump. That was really good. So he's trying to anticipate Xian doing those big moves again. See, now he goes to the jab afterwards. Now he's kind of slowing down after he does those really risky fierces. Yeah, see, so this all sucks. This all stems from the bad decision of him allowing Xian to start his endgame. By not air to airing. So what ends up happening here is the theme of Xian, instead of him countering shit straight up and just trying to do the guesswork, now again he's committing to countering Infiltration's decisions. His decision of commitment, that's what Xian is now like basing the rest of his set off of. You're gonna see he plays so much like different now. Because now it's not really about him trying to hit the pokes or counter hit it or crush counter it. He's just trying to like divert Infiltration's attention to what he thinks he wants, and then he's just like, nope, I'm gonna jump. That was so cheap. Pretty good. All right. So, I'm gonna show you guys something really quick in training mode. Be pretty quick. So that way you guys can understand this concept really quick. PS4 is on rest mode. Give me a second. All right. Ah, damn it. Disconnected me? It's fine. Luckily, training mode loads up pretty quick now. Be a pretty simple explanation. Basically, gonna just discuss what happened with Phantom Limbs. Remedy 944, what's up, man? Zaf, what are your thoughts of Manat? Justin's Manat was terrifying at DreamHack. You never even got put into losers. I think Manat is one of those characters that you have to understand at a scientific level to beat. Can't really just throw caution to the wind with her. She requires some work, you know, especially because the thing is, when people don't study a character, they kind of just play that character like they play every other character, aka they just play the engine the way, you know, that's what they do. But Manat is anti-Street Fighter 5. Excuse me. And what I mean by that is that she avoids the one thing about the game that really like scares people, which is crush counters. Not saying she can't get crush countered, but the likelihood of her getting crush countered are significantly lower than the rest of the cast. So I think that's why she's so good. That's why Justin's doing so well with her. Because he doesn't really have to be in a position where he's, you know, making mistakes that will jeopardize his entire victory. Even in the end game, he doesn't really have to be close to you to kill you. But now doesn't need to do that. Alright, so let's see. Now, so what Phantom Limbs are, this is what, this is going to be like something I want to convey because you're going to see how Xian uses this against Infiltration. So let's say we have a range, right? We have this range right here. We'll say sweep range. Now let me push her back a little bit. All right, I like to use the lines. Standing right there. Okay, cool. So I like to say it's sweep range. Not every sweep is that short. Some are longer, like Manat's or whatever, right? But she's what Sim wanted to be. Yeah, exactly. So with Phantom Limbs, right? You create this rhythm in your opponent's mind that you're going to do something at a certain spacing when you enter the spacing. I'll give you an example. Infiltration's rhythm is this. Right? Cool. So what he'll do is he'll create a phantom limb, meaning it's a limb that doesn't exist, but he sells it to you and makes you think you're going to do it. So when he gets into this mindset, you know, he gets you into this mindset of looking for this over and over and over and over again, right? Oh, Remedy, thank you for the sub. I appreciate it, brother. Thank you so much. I appreciate you guys even tuning in, let alone like all subbing, anything like that. That's just icing on the cake. As long as you guys are growing, I'm happy. All right, so he does this, right? And now he kind of creates this bias in your mind, and it creates like this muscle memory, this anticipation. And that's what's dangerous. If you're not aware, if you're not self-aware of like, yo, I'm starting to look for this too much, then you start to get controlled by your opponent. Joe, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. So if you create this muscle memory in your opponent, you can kind of control them like a puppet. You can pull certain strings. We like to call it triggers. That's shout out to Kaizen. So we have triggers that we will pull in certain players when you figure them out, you're like, oh, this is what makes you do this. This makes you do this. Me doing these scenarios make you do this. Like the smarter players, they don't really just fall for that. They don't fall for jab, jab, and they jump. But they'll fall for a sequence of feints. Jab, strong, fierce. Maybe that fierce, that one time you don't do fierce is when they jump, because they're the smarter players. They try to read your rhythm. So what Infiltration will do is that he'll set that up. Jab, jab, strong. Jab, jab, walk back. You know? Or jab, jab, jab again. Because he knows that you are anticipating this stand strong. He knows that you're treating it like a fireball that you want to jump. You know? So I can demonstrate that with, let's say, record guard recovery. It's a good way just to practice the visual of it. Just record the dummy jumping after blocking something. Obviously, you can't make her do anything afterwards, which kind of sucks. I wish they had that option, but that's totally fine. So let's say I do... Oh, she jumps. Okay, that's good. So I do jab. Boom. Right? Or let me make it first attack. So instead of me doing this, boom. Because he's anticipating it. It's a phantom limb. In his imagination, the button is out because I've seen it so much, I'm convinced. It's like that first impression bias. You meet somebody, you met them, and they were a complete dickhead to you. Like, you know, you're more likely to believe that they're going to continue being a dickhead. No matter how nice they are later on, you're going to be like, nah, I don't trust your intentions. I've already seen this. That's how you got to treat this situation. So the way you would counter it is that you create the belief that, you know, you can do multiple things, of course. You can, like, if I know you're going to do this, then I can pretend I'm falling for it. You know what I'm saying? I can, if I'm playing Cammy, I can walk back in between your string and I'll jump and I'll dive kick on purpose. That's something I'll do, like, against Infiltration. If I were to play him, I would block the jabs, walk back in between the jabs, and because he wouldn't notice that. It's so subtle, and because he's just so focused on one particular thing in that sequence, that I'll take advantage of his intense focus on a certain outcome, and I would just walk back, and then I would jump empty dive kick, because he'll see me jump, and his reactions are so good, he'll be like, oh, he jumped, roundhouse. But then the roundhouse would whiff, and then I could land with punish spiral arrow. You know, and I don't know what Ibuki could do. I don't think Ibuki could change her trajectory like that and still punish, so that's kind of rough. But maybe like jump kunai, I don't know. But yeah, the idea would be to just counter the commitment of him walking back or something like that. So what he could do, which you'll see Xian do, is that he'll pretend that he's like, man, I'm not gonna do that. You already beat me up enough for trying to jump and do all this stuff. So the Infiltration's like, all right, back to the game plan. But instead of Xian like just guessing when he's gonna start to go back, instead of Xian being like, okay, he's doing this, right? He's like, all right, I'm in the flow of things. And then all of a sudden he does that fake walk back. Instead of Xian being like, I'm going to wait 5 seconds and then do it, Xian goes, I'm going to wait for a particular thing to tell me that you shifted back to your standard strategy, which was pressing buttons. And what you'll see is this, okay, this, and then, you know, he'll start to go back. He'll flow back. So Xian will end up countering the moments in between or whatever. So let me get back to the match. Zach, what's your schedule? I like to watch again. It's always interesting talking there. Yeah, for sure. I stream every every Monday and Thursday. So I have this series, obviously, which is what you're watching, Analysis Paralysis. And then I also have my Monday Mastery Monday series. I don't know why I butchered that backwards. But yeah, I have my Mastery Monday series. They both start at 7 o'clock sharp. The first couple minutes, I'm just playing instrumentals while I'm getting ready and stuff. Then you guys come in, just chill, fill up the chat. And the next episode will be about zones. So I'll give you guys a little hint, like little bit of that. This is the picture. This is what it's going to involve. All right. So I'm going to be breaking down the spatial aspects of the screen and how you can read your opponent simply based off of how they're moving between zones on a space or zones in the space or whatever. So yeah, there's that. So this series, and then I have my Mastery Mondays. Those are the only two. Any other days, if I do stream, I'm gonna just be streaming like me training, me doing ranked, like stuff like that. But these 2 days I dedicate to you guys. So these are the days I'm always streaming at this exact time, every single time. Don't think otherwise. If you are chilling, Monday, you're like, it's 7 o'clock. Oh, I know what time it is. Then I'm doing a good job. All right. Let's get back to it. What's up, Solo? Solo, my bot doesn't do uptimes. I'm sorry. I can tell you, though. I've been live for an hour and 41 minutes. All right, so let me get some water. I've been talking a lot. We're almost done. It's down. All right. What's up, Teddy? All right. So let's see. Yeah, so basically, I don't even need the notes anymore. So this last part, I didn't take notes on. I did watch it, though. So we're just going to watch it together and just kind of piece together the story. The rest of the set, just to decide or just see what's going on. All right. That's interesting. So that this is so crazy how life comes full circle. You see how this exact scenario happened round 1? That's actually crazy. This is the same sequence. That's bananas. How is that not dope? This is the same sequence that happened round 1, guys, of match 1. What? This is what, 5 matches later? Yo, this is 5 matches later. And they could do anything they want at the beginning. They could do anything they want. They could press any button. They could move in 8 different directions. Yet they did the same sequence. The same okay. Right? Watch this again. Ooh, and this is from round 1. What? Come on, man. That's dope. That's so sick. That also that makes me feel good because that means my analysis is pretty spot on so far. Okay. So Infiltration's downfall is he's kind of increasing his aggression, but hopefully he gets back to what he was doing. So this is good. Now he's playing like the way he was playing. All right. Nice. Yeah. So now he's playing like the same way he played that first match. What's up there, Kazu? Yeah, that was cheap. Nice. That is projectile invincible. That is really good. That is really good. I'm surprised that counter hit him. I thought it would be negative after that. I've been alright solo. I'm just doing the dude, just trying to grind, get better, you know what I'm saying? All the art looks great, but good to see you're well. Gonna lab myself. Have a good night. Alright, later, Roberto, I'll catch you, bro. That was really good. That crouching jab is excellent in that situation because Ibuki's stand roundhouse doesn't hit crouching. Oh, he was crouching strong. He did crouching strong, but that was really good because that any crouching attacks will just completely avoid it. It doesn't hit crouching. It's basically like a whiff punish at that point. He's getting to the dive kick game. So this dive kick right here was just like a feint. But that's interesting. That was really good. So just completely avoid the situation. That was awesome. Nice. So Infiltration thought, okay, after I've countered him, and I could hit him with the fierce, I can start to commit again like I do at those opening rounds, right? Those situations where I know Xian's gonna chill out because I did something significant. I read him, I punished him, he's gonna chill. But Xian's like, nope. That was really good. He was trying to throw him, so that way he could negate the orb coming back. He tried to throw him right there, because if the throw break happens, then I'm pretty sure that the orb comes fast enough. Yeah, that where during the animation of the throw break, where they both kind of like reset themselves, that they would both be invincible and nothing could hit them.
He tried to go in for the throw. He tried to go in for the throw, but Infiltration knew he was coming. Oh, V-Skill gets the knockdown, so here's an opportunity for Xian. Throw, pressure, another throw.
Shimmy.
Goes for the shimmy this time.
If he can block it out, can he just escape? That's the intention. He goes in instead.
Oh, and he gets a counter hit.
Not dead yet. There's a super there. And
Yikes.
He does it. Remaining in
Ah, what the hell?
find out who
Accidentally.
front. So he didn't quite get all the way under.
That was an accident.
walking under whenever he.
Like he's also jumping. Yeah,
Where was it? Where was it?
Xian basically telling him no orbs for you. I've got an EX right.
The sweat over there.
Goes for the shimmy.
Oh yeah, it was after. Okay, here you go.
But you know what? Coming in this round, no resources for Infiltration now. No
This is a really dope set. I learned a lot from watching this too, which I didn't think I would, to be honest. I was like, Manada Buki and okay. So see, now he's picking up on that commitment. He's waiting for the commitment. He's waiting for. I feel like you're committing to. You're committing to thinking I'm committing. That's basically what it's coming down to. That's the simplest way I could put it. I think Infiltration's trying to pick up the pace so that way he can throw him off. Because I think he feels like Xian has a read on his rhythm. Oh, that was. Huh.
It could be one mix up here. Okay, the next one, there's super now. Into what the low, the block is. Xian is in trouble. They
Nice.
Xian still has a chance. Goes for the throw. Here we go.
bus ramps.
From the front. That's the Xian. The classic Xian.
Ouch. And the last time that situation happened, he hit him with jump roundhouse, and he did low. He did short, and then the low forward. He did short, low forward, jab whiffed, and then he low forward again, and he killed him. So he was pretty aware. He's like, you know what? I think that he's probably gonna crouch block because of that previous way I KO'd him. Because KO's kind of lingering in the mind of players.
Sorry, Xian just figured something out. It's like you said, a lot of it was those jump timings that he's been having.
Yeah, and he's been anti-aired here and there, just like that.
That's literally it. Like, he's still playing relatively the same. It's just the timings of like he's just waiting for something to give him the feel that that idea of, oh, okay, I can commit now. Nice.
Xian, who's tied 2-2 right now.
Oops. Oh, that was really good. Damn. I teched. I definitely teched. Oh, how do you block that? You don't. You think you blocked it, but you never do. Ooh, I got the diarrhea phase.
Last year in 2017.
So he's
And it
at
still
match
works.
point now. It seemed like Infiltration was running away with this. He is at match point himself
Okay.
earlier to 3
Jab, 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 jab.
and then a fast round.
And that first round too was such a great start for Infiltration. He had done so
Yep. So the increased jab activities is showing that Infiltration's kind of like he's getting really tense.
half-life like this. He knows he can make the comeback. Oh, again, beautiful walk under. Oh, here we go. It's starting. It's starting. Off to the other side.
See, okay, so this is a really small moment. I'm pretty sure people might not notice, but against the Buki in this situation, if she does that and you walk back, I think Infiltration understood this like very well. That if you're committing to that walk back, that you might be able to just walk away from the hit confirm, the target combo part of it, because the second hit of her target combo, which is her stand medium punch, has really like small range. I'm pretty sure Infiltration labbed this. This doesn't seem like it was an accident.
Off to the other side, but too far.
Infiltration just walking out,
He
jumping out.
wants that stun. He wants that stun, but
But it could have been, because if he did lab it, he probably would have been prepared to punish it. Who knows? Might be something to look into.
and Xian has been throwing a lot more, and it has been paying off
Nice.
so well.
Info's really got to try to settle things down. I know it's
Good air there.
see all the momentum's on Xian's side. Here's one way to do it.
Oh, but the rider once again.
Awesome. So good.
Here's one way to do it.
That's so good. Like, he's punishing his the one area of Manat that players don't usually punish. You know? So he's autopiloting there. Like, Even top players are guilty of it. Wow, look at that. The fact that he's jumping in on him and not getting anti... Infiltration hasn't pressed... He's not pressing anything. He's just getting jumped in on. That's a big flag, like a big red flag. Like, Infiltration is not mentally where he was at the start of the set. You know, like, he's not the same player right now. Because he jumped at him and he didn't even press a button. If he pressed a button, I would have been like, okay, maybe he didn't want anti-air because he was like, I don't know. But no, he didn't press shit. And just... Yeah, so he's just... Yeah, this is... That was really good. That was a punish too, damn. That's the second time he's did that? And he was prepared. Infiltration's so good. So they've slowed it down. See, these are where emotions are ruling. You know, because Infiltration, when he was more logical and he was more in a confident place, he was like, oh, I know you're not going to do nothing. But now it's like, I don't want to do nothing. He's playing more fear-based. Instead of him playing to, like, the needs of his strategy, he's playing to the wants. Now he's kind of playing to get security. So I think that kind of bites him in the ass. And his security ends up being, like, really strange overcommitments. Look at that. He wasn't doing that before. He just walked in on him and did that 3 times in a row. Look at that. Wow. Yeah, it's really good. Again, takes advantage of the minus frames. Yeah, he's jumping. He wants that. He wants to establish. Ooh, this shit is cheap. Oh my god. How are you blocking that? I'm shutting my computer off. That was so cheap. That was so cheap. So yeah, guys. That is that. I guess we're done with that. So what do you guys think? I want to get some feedback. Hope you guys took away some gems from that set, from that analysis. Hope I did a good job. My first time doing some real analysis like that in a while. I gotta get it back. I feel like I could have did better, but that's just my standards. So what's up, guys? Talk to me. You guys got to see some minute things that would otherwise, for the most part, they kind of get overlooked. They get glossed over, you know, because it's so, like, insignificant, but the insignificant things aren't ever really insignificant. Yeah, no doubt, bro. I'm glad you came in. I'm glad Pumper Jam mentioned me. I didn't even know you were on Twitter. Naka, yeah, it was cool. Word. I'm glad. You know, like, if I were to give you guys, like, homework, I would just say, just try to play knowing how you want to lose. And just see how much of a difference that, like, simple mindset, that paradigm, like, will make a world of a difference in your quality of play. Because I feel like Infiltration kind of lost sight of how he wanted to lose. And instead, he just played, like, not wanting, like, to lose. You know what I'm saying? Like, you could tell. Because he started to just play, like, really just discomforted. Word. I think it was a really interesting set. I really wanted to watch Bonechan versus Nemo, but 2-hour stream that's pretty solid. I was trying to get it to 90 minutes, but I keep pooping words. Classic case of save the best for last. Yeah, you could say that. But I don't think Xian was necessarily saving it. Wait, what do you mean by that, Gabe? I don't want to make an assumption. 'Cause I don't know exactly what you mean by that. That's crazy. My man Solo's in here. Yeah, yo, Solo, you're the man. Yo, is Juices in the chat? Oh, he's not in the chat. I want to respond to his tweet. Oh, what's up, Ivan? Ivan, you're in here. You're just such a lurker, man. Gee, my friends are such lurkers. They just come in here and they just stare at my face and they don't say anything to me. Defy, thank you, sir, for tuning in. D-Man Bats, electrical longboard, electrical skateboard. E-Spirit, Kakarot, my brother. Hot Stepper, I appreciate that compliment from earlier. That was awesome. Island Boy, what's going on? Boris, Naka, Remedy, Shout Gamers, Solo, Super Fro, Super John. Team shut him down. T. Kimura. Oh, the Cammy extraordinaire right there. That's my homie. Kimura never says anything unless it's Cammy on the screen. That's why I respect that. And Zenoid, what's up? And then, of course, my mods. Gotta show love. Almaz, Badstone, Cheeseburger, AJ, Teddy. What up? Ivan, you just joined? Heartbreak. Did you learn anything new or have important takeaways from NL or Valoran's Cammy at ComboBreaker? Honestly, I haven't even analyzed it yet, so I can't say anything. I'll probably get to that in my own studies. Because I don't know, I've just felt so I'm just so proud of how I played against NL that like I'm like, yo, I'm doing the right thing by playing my own way. You know, so I don't really like gravitate towards them like I would want to just naturally. I don't know, it's weird. Especially after how I played them in tournament. I was like, yo, I haven't been practicing and I'm destroying you like this. Like, what is going on? But that's the, you know, but he's obviously, I think he's the best Cammy player right now. I think NL is. And then I say Kazunoko and then Valoran. I think Kazunoko's still better than Valoran. But against NL, I was up a match and I was like a hit confirm, I think, away from like killing him. Like button into DP super type of thing. But I lost that match. But I was so happy, like during that second match, I didn't care. And I just felt like I already won. And then he beat me and he won the tournament, which is cool, you know, but I feel like I took the bigger victory. That's why I was just like, yeah, Kazunoko Valoran is a toss-up. I would just give it to him because of the simple fact that his dive kick game is just so immaculate. But remember when Cammy's dive kick game was like way better than it was because of the EX dive kicks? Kazunoko was ridiculous. He was, dude, he was destroying people left and right. When her EX dive kick was like easily plus, he was, whew. Because he had more room for expression with his dive kicks. He didn't have to be so robotic with it, where it's like, I have to hit it at this exact spacing, this exact, you know what I'm saying? So I think that's what kind of like diluted him. Good War Evil. Who this handsome gentleman? Handsome gentleman, this who? Sav. What's up? I tried to say that backwards, but I completely mixed up. Handsome gentleman. Whatever. So yeah. So I saw Punk playing Cammy. Was that always a thing? He plays fifth with Karen Cammy at GMAG. Yeah, he's been playing her. He's pretty solid with her too. I was asking him for some like feedback on some stuff. He's actually pretty solid with her. Good War Evil. I actually finished it. I'm so sorry. Forgive me. Forgive me. Sorry. You still gonna be my friend? Yo, is that Van? Yo, Van, what you doing in here, bro? Come on, man. You can't be blessing us with your presence like that. Let me put the stunner shades on at least. No, it's cool. It's all good, Good War Evil. I have a YouTube channel. So I'm gonna be uploading it. I'm gonna show you guys right now. So I have a Twitter. If you guys don't know, you can follow me on Twitter. Feel free. You can message me, ask me questions. I don't care. Just give me ideas of what to stream. I'm gonna be streaming every Monday and Thursday, same exact time, 7 p.m. All right. It's gonna be roughly 90 minutes. I might drag it to 2 hours, whatever. But the other days I stream are random. They're sporadic, and to be honest, it'll just be me training. I'm not really gonna be teaching. I obviously will talk to you guys, make you guys laugh, and teach you as I'm going. But it's not gonna be like full-fledged like these 2 days, you know. So these 2 days, I'm streaming this on Thursdays, right? My analysis paralysis series, and then on Mondays I do my mastery Mondays. So I was saying earlier that next Monday, which would be 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, 1900 EST for my military folks out there, 11 p.m. UTC for the UK homies, and 8 a.m. in Japan. I have some friends over there that watch, surprisingly. I'll be streaming, and the topic is going to be on zones. I'm going to be using this. I'm going to be breaking this down, showing you guys how to divide the screen into segments and how to read people based off of where they're standing. You can literally categorize any player, doesn't matter how good they are, into little things like that. So I'm going to give you guys one of my most fundamental, I think you could say, strengths is this. My great friend, mentor, Kaizen Master taught me this years ago, and this has helped me so much, dude, with beating Justin, beating Ricky, beating Strider, beating Smug, like Sanford, like all these great players, whatever. Like, I definitely give that to this concept. This right here transformed me as a player. So, oh, found your first one on our Street Fighter. Word. I'm glad I didn't like know how it worked. I was like, I'm gonna just throw that on there. I didn't really use Reddit like that, so I was just like, am I even doing this right? God damn it. So I'm really glad. Yo, thanks for creating the series. It's helping me grow as a player. Yo, honestly, thank you guys for tuning in. I'm actually really happy. I haven't stopped smiling because I'm having so much fun. This is really dope. I get way better as a player doing this because a lot of these things, they're innate, or they're things I've studied so long ago, I don't really explain them to myself. I don't refresh on them, but they're like there in little feints. So me digging back and resurfacing them, and then just like, refining little things, it really helps me as a player. So I thank you guys tremendously. This is my way of thanking you guys for helping me, I appreciate it. And of course, I appreciate those that subbed to me today. I think I got like 3 subs, so I'm ecstatic about that, of course, you know what I'm saying? So that's awesome. I remember the days Young Zat didn't even have a stream set up. I know, dude, that's so crazy. It's so wild, dude. I have a green screen. Like, I can just do this and enter another dimension. It just, right? It's so cool, bro. Like, I worked really hard for this, man. And I'm just so glad I could finally do this. I have my lighting, I have my setup, my PC, my 2 monitors. Like, it's so dope. I have my own room, like a bigger room now. Like, it's great. I'm happy. The way things are going, we're all gonna grow together. We're all gonna win together. You know what I'm saying? And that's like the thing I feel like I owe people. I owe people growth, for themselves and for myself too. Because I know people do look up to me, and I never really wanted to admit it because of my insecurities. I didn't think I was, somebody that should be looked up to. But I really accepted it because I've seen the fruits of labor from my students and my peers, and that shit makes me mad happy. And I'm like, damn, I've been so selfish. I didn't even take the time to recognize that I've helped these people, and that they've, taken parts of me, and now I exist within them for the rest of their life, because I don't just teach the game, I'm teaching life also, So I feel really good about where I am, man. I really want to take this to another level. I want to start going to NLBC again every week. So for those of you that don't know, I'm from Massachusetts, right? And NLBC is obviously in New York. And in Street Fighter 4, man, the stuff of legend. I don't know if this is your first Street Fighter, but if you guys watch Street Fighter 4 like a lot, you've probably seen me like start to surface towards the end of the game. I used to play Fei Long, and I used to go to NLBC every week from Massachusetts. Every week I did that shit for 15 weeks straight. And yo, it was, I loved those moments because I don't know, it didn't feel like work, man. I was just so committed, and that's kind of what I want to get back to with this game. And that's why I really want to stream every week. That's why, like, I've convinced like I convinced my job that I'm not gonna work Mondays and Thursdays. Monday, Wednesday, Thursdays, I'm not working from now on. I'm work the other days. I'll do doubles and stuff to make up the 40 hours. It's not that serious. It's a hospital. They're always open. But I'm going to just stream on these 2 days, committed every single week, and help you guys out. And in that way, it also keeps me in the flow of constantly practicing, constantly innovating, constantly growing, and then just going to NLBC. So the only thing that kind of sucks is like now I have a car. I didn't have a car back then, right? But now I have a car, and that car is a payment. That's a liability. So I have to pay for the car, and I'm like, so like I have to just kind of save up a couple more weeks and then go. I was thinking about going to CEO, but instead I'm gonna save up my money and just go to New York for like, because the money I could use to go to CEO, I could just go to NLBC with for like 6 weeks. You know what I'm saying? Because it only costs like $28 to go to New York and back round trip on a bus, and then it's like maybe it's like $6 a train ride to NLBC and back to Port Authority where the bus is. So that's right there. It's like, it's not, we'll say $10. We'll just say $10. That's $40 a week, and then another 20 to enter Street Fighter. So that'd be $60, and then maybe another 10 just to join Dragon Ball because I do want to play Dragon Ball. So let's say $70 a week. That's very doable. That's so doable. $70, I could definitely do that. So I want to just like stack up a little bit. Probably, you know, just give me like a nice little chunk of change on the side. Like, you know, obviously pay my bills and, you know, and stuff like that. And then just go and just ride the wave and then come back and teach. That's going to be so fun. Monday, teach. Tuesday, work, whatever. Wednesday, NLBC. Come back Thursday, teach. Every week. And then obviously I won't teach on like a Thursday if I'm going to a major, but just like doing that until majors happen. Doing it. Boom, 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 boom. But yeah. Yeah, it's a great way to level up. I agree. Good War Evil asks, what's this zone image? So basically it's like, I'm gonna teach it on Monday. So my Monday series, it's gonna be my Mastery Mondays. Basically I teach a concept of Street Fighter. And the concept I'm gonna be teaching this Monday is going to be zones. So that is what this is. So these zones, these grids above, basically. You're gonna just learn how to divide the screen into layers, and each layer will give you a educated guess on what your opponent wants to do. That's basically it. And it's like a way of a way of compartmentalizing your opponent. You know, makes it a lot simpler to store information in a match, because instead of you saying, oh, when I'm at this exact range, that's too slow. Instead, you could say zone 1, he does this. Zone 2, when he goes from 1 to 2, he does this. From 3 to 4, he does this. From jumping from 5 to 3, he does this. Like, so yeah. So I'll be breaking that down. Don't worry about that. So Monday, I'll be doing that. You guys will get a really great experience as far as that goes. I got you. All right, guys. So I'm going to wrap it up. I appreciate you guys. I'm gonna give my little shout outs again. Feel free to follow me on here. Feel free to spread my stream. Literally just spam it on people. Like, just let all your friends know that that they just have the slightest interest in Street Fighter. Just let them know, like, hey, I think you should check this out. Because it helps me, you know? And I want to be a Twitch partner. I want more emojis. This is the only emoji I have. Which, granted, I love this emoji, but it's like, I want more. I want more emojis, you know? But like, I want my Zaf Jito emoji. Why don't I have that? I can't have more emojis until I'm a partner, which sucks, but I'll get there one day. So yeah, you know, like, if you guys want to do me a favor, just follow me on here, follow me on Twitter, you know, and just share my stuff, share my links, share my archives. I'm gonna archive this up into YouTube as soon as we're done. Yeah, you know, just let people know that there is a landmine of information, of jewels and gems in this stream. It is not only entertainment, but it is informative, and you're learning from a potential top player. So you get the best, you get the triple crown. What other stream do you get the triple crown? Most people, they have 2 out of 3. They don't have all 3. You know? So you got to take that chance on your boy, because you won't regret it a month from now. All right. I'm gonna go. I'll be back Monday. And give my random shoutouts to people in the stream again. So Zenoid, T Kimura, Shut 'em Down, Super John, Super Fro, St. Louis Solo, Shout Gamers, Shiznos, Remedy, Phantoms, Naka, Dash, Shadi, my name Boris, Mukhtar, Island Boy, Hot Step, Good War Evil, E-Spirits, Electrical Skateboard, Electrical Longboard, D-Man Bats, Commander Root, Dapper Hobo, my mods. I appreciate you guys. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. Guys, the best. I'll catch you guys on the flip side. Peace, Audi 5000.